Oh,
Okay,
did
sorry.
everyone hear that? That was okay, fine.
Yeah.
So two things from me. First of all, I've sent a link in the chat. It's a link via the website, hunrosa.org/GDPR training 2022, sorry, 220124. If everybody could just open that link. Now, this is not. It is for now. This is just a brief overview of what we're going to be doing over the next 10 to 12 minutes or so. I will be as brief as I can with it. And I'm going to be embellishing on what we've got in front of us. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I think I should be asking permission for this. Is it okay, Jan? I think I'll be asking you. Is it okay if I take a screenshot of this view, so we can create a social media post about what we're doing and how, and everyone can kind of like do a little wave and stuff like that. I think that'd be quite cool, but I do appreciate that this should be a permission and approval thing before I just go ahead and just do it. So yeah, what are your
Um,
thoughts?
Simon, a few of them haven't.
Yeah, I've seen that. I realised that I sent the link before several people had
Someone's
joined.
already pasted
I've
it.
Yeah,
I've shared it for you, Simon.
thank you, Kirsty. I appreciate that.
Oh, great. I was just about to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if anyone doesn't want to be on the social media shot, then fair warning, switch your camera off.
If anyone
It,
doesn't want to, I'll just edit them out of the thing. But if that's okay, generally,
it'll
I'll
head.
just. But it'll only
Um,
be small. You won't be able to see a lot. I just think it'll be good to
yeah.
show.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we all need to get our best side, and you give us a 3, 2, 1.
I'll give you three, two, one after. Should we do it now and just get it out of the way?
Yes,
Go
please.
for it.
Right. Okay. Hang on a sec. Let me just close the chat window. Hang on a sec. My mouse has literally just stopped working, which is. I can't do anything. My mouse is just. Oh, there we go. It's come back to life again. So in three, two, one. Do you want to smile and wave or just smile and wave and go 3, 2, 1, cheese?
Cheese.
Perfect. There we go. Fabulous. Okay, great. Okay, so that'll go out on. That'll go out on Hunrosa and Hello HQ at some point in the near future. Okay, cool. So has everyone got the link in front of them? This is going to be useful for later on as well, just so we can use it as a quick reminder. And this will remain. This will be a permalink now, so it'll stay here forever. So, okay, thanks for joining. Okay, so we're going to focus on a really important topic, which is handling sensitive data securely, especially when it comes to email communication. And this is a great opportunity to refresh our understanding of secure data handling around email communication. And we're always looking for ways to improve our processes, and this is mostly about strengthening our knowledge to ensure that we're using the most secure methods about handling certain sensitive information. Now, I've got a little quiz that I'll be chucking out questions very, very shortly, just to make sure that everyone's listening. So brace yourselves, there is no prize, I'm afraid. So about GDPR compliance, it's not just a set of rules we follow because we have to, it's about trust and responsibility. So our clients, partners and colleagues rely on us to protect their personal data. And handling sensitive information correctly ensures that we avoid breaches, fines, and potential reputational damage, which is really, really quite important. What should you do just before sending an email that contains sensitive data? Should you just send it and hope for the best? Should you double check the recipient and ensure secure methods are used? Or should you copy it to your personal email just in case?
Number 2.
Double check.
Double check. Yeah. So I've done it. I don't know how many times in the last week. I don't know how many times all of us have done it in the last week, but I've got about 20 or 30 clients. All email addresses start with info at. Okay, we've got one, haven't we? We've got an info at email address, and I've really, really got to make sure when I start typing in info at, all of a sudden all of these email addresses, and I've got to make sure that I'm sending it to the right one. It's easily done, but when it comes to the email that contains sensitive data, we've got to be super, super careful. Okay, so there are some common mistakes to avoid. And so the very first one is sending emails to the wrong recipient. It's really easy, like I literally just said, set up autocomplete or copy and paste an email address. But taking an extra moment to check can prevent a major issue. And it's always worth double checking the recipient's details before hitting send, especially when sending sensitive information. And like I said, we've got several individuals, all that have the first name at, and then it's a completely different email address at the end. And everyone's in a rush, aren't they? We're all, we just want to get something done, and then we can, sort of move forward. But just by absolutely double checking that it's going to the correct recipient is the most important thing. Our work emails are designed with security in mind. Personal email addresses or NHS email addresses, even if you trust them, don't have the same safeguards in place. The NHS infrastructure is a great infrastructure, but it's not entirely resilient because who's the biggest problem when it comes to GDPR? What's the biggest problem when it comes to GDPR? It's us. We're the biggest problem. We create the mistakes, right? We can put as many safeguards as we like in place, but if we are in a rush or if there is an issue, we are the problem. So that's why it's always worth double checking. Okay, if you accidentally send data to the wrong email, what's the first step? Do you delete the sent email and pretend it didn't happen? Do you contact the recipient and report it to the DPO? Or do you try to recall the email and hope it works?
What was the middle option?
Okay, I'll say them all again. If you accidentally send data to the wrong email, what's the first step? Do you delete the sent email and pretend it didn't happen? Do you contact the recipient and report it to the DPO? Or do you try to recall the email and hope it works?
Two.
Yeah, the second one.
It is two. Okay, and two additional questions. What does DPO stand for, and who is Hunrose's DPO?
Data Protection Officer.
Bravo. And who is our DPO?
Jan.
It is Jan. So right at the very, very bottom of this link that I've given you, we can see that in this case, because it's Hunrosa, we can see our DPO, Data Protection Officer, is Jan at hunrosa.co.uk. So we can contact Jan straight away. We could benefit from having a backup email, which might be mine, but it will always go to Jan in the first instances. Okay, what time are we? We've got a couple of minutes left. Secure email practices.
Make say something on top of that.
Yep.
So what I would probably do with that is that I would sort of review what you've done in terms of contacting other people, the nature of the information, and where it's gone. So, for example, if it's gone to someone else in the NHS, then but there's so many people like John Smith, there's so many John Smiths with, and John Smith 123 or whatever. But it can sometimes go straight outside of the NHS. So I would, in consultation, probably with Simon and sometimes Chris, sometimes Kirsty, depends on the nature of it. We would discuss it and see what the best response would be. But we'd always keep you in the loop if the things need to be taken further, and especially the nature of the information. We have some tricky situations, don't we, where surgeries put absolutely everything on their email, and they send it to the Hunrosa address, which is a bit, yes, it's difficult, isn't it? We have to go back and say,
keep it within the NHS.
Can I add another little bit to that, Jan? Just an add-on. If we're talking about NHS work, and for those of you that have worked in the NHS, you will know there's a thing called duty of candour, which is our responsibility to ensure that if mistakes happen, that we let patients know. So if we had accidentally let information about a family go to somewhere it shouldn't, under duty of candour, we may have a responsibility just to let that family know, but we're always weighing up potential harm. So just we can talk more about duty of candour at some point if people want to know a bit about that, but I'm sure NHS people do already.
That's something I'll be interested to know about, Christine. Maybe me and you can have a chat about that in the near future. That'll be really, really interesting. I think I've got a gap of knowledge there as well, so that would be really useful. I think for me, if that's okay, that would be super.
Yes, certainly. And just to say, we're doing a little bit of work around tightening up our governance stuff, which isn't to say that everybody hasn't been doing an amazing job already. We know you all have, but this is just some dotting of I's and crossing T's. So there'll be some more training coming out about risk and risk assessment and reporting risks, and similarly about reporting incidents. So I see in the excellent piece that Simon's got here on the link about GDPR, it says about reporting incidents. Well, we're going to make that easier for you in future. There'll be a form that you can fill in, and there'll be a simple link that you'll be able to hit to be able to do that. So we'll just make it easier. But in the meantime, obviously, you just wing Jan an email.
I do.
Obviously not with, not making it worse. You
Yeah.
know, sort of.
Yeah, don't include
In
your
other
neighbour's
words-
BMI or anything like that. That'll just
No,
be,
but equally, in the case of the surgery, if it comes through to you, then you don't then send it back again.
oh yeah. So yeah, don't reply. Send a new email.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fab. Okay. Secure email practices. Okay. So before you send an email, any email with personal data, there are 3 questions you should always ask. First of all, is the recipient correct? Is the email the safest option for this data? I think the answer normally is yes, but it might be questionable. And have I used security measures like encryption or passwords? Now, I don't actually know whether the NHS email system provides the ability to provide encryption. I know it's encrypted within its own infrastructure, but once it leaves the NHS infrastructure, it's no longer encrypted. So that's something worth mentioning. But that's something that we might want to consider looking at, see if we can get it deployed. Does it exist? Do we know? That's something I don't know.
No.
Sorry, Simon. I was going to say no, but Jan beat me to it.
Yeah. So you'd have to use other packages, like what was the one we used? Egress.
Egress,
Yeah.
the one that local authorities typically use.
Yeah.
And Egress is pretty simple. You just have to sign up to it, have a password, and away you go, really. So it's not complicated. It's just another added layer of security.
Maybe that's consideration for the future. Maybe that's a different
And
conversation.
we have a Handrosa account with them just for the things
Oh,
we
do we
receive.
actually? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay, fabulous. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, quick question then. Is it acceptable to use your personal email to send work-related sensitive data? So yes, if it's urgent. No, personal email is never secure, or only if you use the official work email. So is it acceptable to use your personal email to send work-related sensitive data?
No.
No, is the answer. That's a resounding no from everybody. Great. Okay, fabulous. Okay, and 2 final things from me. What to do if an incident happens? So, like I said, we're all human. We make mistakes. It is what it is, right? But what matters is how we respond to them and how quickly we respond to them. Burying our heads in the sand is never the best idea. As soon as you realise that a potential breach has happened, if you think a breach has happened, contact Jan. If you know a breach has happened, contact Jan. If you're really, really not quite sure, contact Jan, right? That is the whole purpose of it. It's if you're really not sure and you think, did that go to the right person or did that contain, just contact Jan. That's all, whether it's WhatsApp, just say, Jan, I need to have a chat about GDPR, about potential, whatever it is, contact Jan. It's the it's the response time, which is really, really important, because ultimately we would rather know that there wasn't a breach within 30 seconds of it happening than, somebody sitting on it for a week and then kind of going, oh yeah, this might have happened a week ago. And then it increases the severity of the situation, right? So if you realize that you sent data to the wrong person, just don't panic. You just need to contact Jan. It's #contact Jan. That's pretty much what it boils down to,
Great.
right?
I won't tell you off either, because we've all done it, including me.
Exactly.
So it's about.
I did it a week before last.
You did it to me.
I did it to Jan, right? I breached Jan's contact details to Anyway, and I rectified it immediately, and everything's fine. It is what it is. You just need to contact Jan. So contact the recipient. Ask them to delete the email without opening or forwarding it. It might be too late. They might have already opened it. They might have already forwarded it. It's too late. But always make sure that you can get a written response from them saying, "I can confirm that I have deleted this content." And there's nothing more that, even if they haven't done it, if they've confirmed that they have, we've just got to believe that they've done it. If they're outside the organization or within the organization or whatever. Okay. And then hashtag altogether. Contact Jan. There we go. Go on, Sarah. Go on.
Do you ask them to delete it from their deleted items as well?
That's a really good idea. But ultimately, most email systems will only retain deleted content for 30 days. So it's going to be an automatic deletion anyway at some point. But that's a really, really good point. Yeah, if you ask them to delete it, can you also make sure that they manually delete it out of their deleted folder too? So then we've got that additional layer of security. So then when we do contact Jan, she will say, "What have you done?" And the very first thing you will need to say is, "I have contacted the person. I have had confirmation to say that they have deleted it from inbox and deleted folder, and also this only happened 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, an hour ago," something like that. Anything longer than that, we might be potentially having problems. As long as it's as immediate as it can be, that's the most important thing. We've got the text resource that I sent out this morning on that link. That's going to stay there forever now, so that won't change. It shouldn't be searchable via Google, but if it is, that's not a bad thing, because that means people are going to see that we're taking GDPR seriously, and that's a really, really good thing. And we just need to create that hashtag on social media. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do when I make this post. That's all from me. It was deliberately short and sweet because I don't want to eat into, and I know I appreciate I have it into some of your time this morning. So I've said everything that I wanted to say. If anybody's got any questions, fabulous.
I just wonder, Simon, is it worth having like a pre-written email that you can, if it does happen and you're flapping, it just says to so and so, please delete little, like that we can all send as a uniform? Or
That's a great idea. Yes, I will add that I will add a sample email that you can copy and paste, and I'll add that in the next 10 minutes or so after I've left this chat, and I'll add it to the bottom of that link. So you can just go straight down, you can copy and paste it and bang it straight into your email, hit send, contact Jan. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Brilliant.
There we go. Okay, thank you for your
Simon.
time, everyone. I appreciate you and everything that you guys do. And
we appreciate you the same.
Thank you, Jan. Bless you. I've got another meeting in 3 minutes. So I've got just enough time to have a quick nap. So I'll do that and I'll crack on.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, everyone. Take
Very
care.
much.
Speak to you again. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so so that was a quick look, delve into sending emails and data protection and all of that sort of thing. So now we want to move on to Hunrosa Vision. So I think this is Jan with Tabitha talking about where we're going in the future and how things are going now, perhaps as well. Okay, so I'll pass over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jane. So you may be wondering, well, why do we need a vision? We've been sort of mulling this over probably for about 18 months, really, and really wanted to, we really decided that it was going to be something that would inform all our communications with the outside world and also communications with yourselves as well from the Hunrosa side of things. And we need a direction of travel as well. So we started to develop something which was a very weighty document and lots of work with David, who some of you may have met. And then we moved on to developing something ourselves, which was a bit more pithy and we were able to work with in the day-to-day. So we're really proud of what we've actually achieved. Involved in this has been Jane, Tabitha, and Christine and Kirsty, as well as me. And I'm really grateful for their wisdom in all of this, because just developing something like this on your own is tricky. It is a document that is not set in stone. It's showing us the direction of travel. But if you want, if you've got comments on it, if you think that we've missed something, anything like that, then please do reach out to us. I think it's ambitious, but it's not unrealistic, which is what you want for something like this. So without further ado, I'm now going to pass the baton on to Tabitha to take you through the points of it, and then we'll just have a moment at the end to just reflect on it.
Great. I'm going to see if I can share my screen. I think I can. So let me just do
Yeah,
that.
I think you should be able to, but if not, let me know.
That's right. I've got it, I think.
Yeah.
Let me know. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Great. I mean, we've sent it round already, so I'm sure you've seen it. But as Jan said, I guess it's just, I think particularly because we all work remotely and we don't see each other day to day and so on, sometimes you can sort of forget that we're part of something that's more than just turning up and helping an individual client. So I think it's just really, really important that we have this shared vision and mission and values. And I don't know, but we as a team, when we were putting this together, I would come away from our meetings feeling so positive and encouraged and excited, because actually, I think each element of this is just really, really fantastic. But like Jan said, we can definitely add, change, correct. So do please share feedback. And I think it hopefully is something then that's going to filter through into all that we do, and already does filter through, because we've built on what we're already doing. So there's, in a way, nothing massively life-changingly different to what we've already been doing as an organization and as individuals within the organization. I think it's quite helpful just to think, and I'm so conscious of sort of like jargon, and you hear all these kind of businessy people using all this sort of language. So I think just to sort of put a bit of reality to jargony language, when we talk about the vision, we're thinking about like, what's our North Star, like what's the thing that we're really like aiming for, what's it kind of like, where are we headed? And so, as Jan said, we're quite ambitious. We've put that our vision is to enable everyone in the UK to understand and access the power of sleep in their lives. So that's ambitious, but also quite general, which gives us a lot of room to grow and adapt and sort of move forward in what we do. I should have said as well, Hunrosa's sort of strapline, if you like, is improving sleep, transforming lives. So when we talk about Hunrosa, people will say, what's Hunrosa? That's a weird word. I've never even heard of it. Hunrosa is a sleep consultancy seeking improving sleep and transforming lives. So in all we do, whether that's on a general level of handing out resources, whether that's in our one-to-ones, we are aiming to improve sleep and transform lives through that. So our vision is to enable everyone in the UK to understand and access the power of sleep in their lives. So that's our vision. Our mission, which is more of a like roadmap, if you like, is sort of how we're going to get there. What are we going to actually be doing? What's the route? And so we've landed on sort of 3 kind of points there. So we are going to work with health and care organizations. We're going to work with education organizations, schools, colleges, etc. We're going to work with businesses who particularly care about their employees. We're going to work with professionals, and we're going to work with individuals. So that's nothing new there. That's what we already do. And we're going to offer evidence-based solutions to insomnia and sleep disorders across the lifespan with compassion and care. Again, what we're already doing. And, I think I'm so pleased that we've got with compassion and care in that, because I think that's what makes us so unique. And just is one of the reasons I'm so proud to work with Hunrosa. And I think it's really important that it's in this document, in this statement, because we don't want to ever lose that, particularly, as we potentially grow. That's something we wouldn't want to lose. And as we take on new team members, that's going to be something really important to communicate and get that kind of culture all the way through the business. And our mission is also includes evaluating our outcomes to be outcome focused, responsive to feedback, and to embrace continuous improvement. And I think that's another area where, you know, we're humble in our posture. Like we want to constantly think, how are we doing? What are we not getting quite right? How could we do better? Is what we're doing even working? So again, this for you guys, if you're doing, you know, when you're working on one-to-ones and so on, if there's something you're thinking, I actually think we could do this a bit better if we did X, Y, or Z, or I'm not sure this is working, please feed that back. Like, please share that with us. Please do that. That's part of our mission. It's something we value. So, you know, on that level, that's really important. And, you know, Christine's helping us to be better and better at really measuring things kind of properly as well. So that's kind of where we're at with the mission. And then our values, we can go a bit deeper. Like, this is like kind of who we are. It's kind of, our values are in our DNA, you know, as for all of us in our families, we'll have family values, won't we? And they'll all be slightly different to one another, but we can't always necessarily assume that we all have the same values. So the values that we've landed on for Hunrosa, and again, if there's anything here that you're not sure about or you want to add to that, please like feed that in. But our values, as we've landed so far, that we're trusted professionals. So people trust us, we're trustworthy, we've got integrity. Our sleep offer is based on science and research. We're not sleep fairies that just pick things out of the sky. We base things on science and research, and that goes back to that evaluating. It's keeping going with our professional development, constantly learning and adapting. We have strong governance around our processes and procedures, and you'll notice over the next few months, probably that's even more the case. Christine's really going to help us with that. We want to be like, not just like baseline ticking the boxes. We want to be excellent at that and really, really kind of lead the way on how strong we are on that. And we have a commitment to continuous learning, as already said. Our clients are the heart of everything we do. So we genuinely care. We're not a business that's just focused on making as much money as we can. We're not trying to, I don't know, pull one over the NHS. We genuinely care. And that takes us back to our vision, really, doesn't it? Of like, that's why we want to enable everyone in the UK to understand and access the power of sleep in their lives. So our clients are the heart of everything we do, and that shapes our culture in the way that we speak to people, in the way that we treat the people we're working with, even when they're really hard sometimes to work with. So we're warm, we're welcoming, we aspire to treat everyone with respect. And we recognize our clients as experts, and we work with them to create effective solutions. So again, I don't know about you guys, but I find in those one-to-ones, that's what makes us a bit different. We give our clients a respect and assume that they know best in terms of their situations, and then we work with them to find some solutions that are going to work for them. And I don't know about you, but I definitely find that really changes from when I first get to know a parent or a young person. As they see that coming through, I really see them trust me more and more, and it becomes a more dynamic, more collaborative scenario anyway. So, you know, I think that was just to sort of put a bit of shape on that. And then I'll just quickly go to one more slide, and then we can kind of pick up
make a couple of comments from that as well.
Yeah.
So certainly when we look at the mission, so you sort of said, well, how does that sort of flesh itself out? Well, with the compassion and care that Tabs has just emphasized, it's about looking at, you know, what is best for the child, what is best for the family. They may have preconceived ideas, and they may need to have some education around that as to what other alternatives there could be. And I know that we just do this as almost like a knee jerk. You know, we work with people to not force them like my way is the only way, but we actually listen and move people forward in the way that's going to be the best with compassion. And I think it needs it's sort of something that needs writing down, that it's worth writing down, because it's something that not everybody does. and they all have their very rigid programs, and you have to fit in them, and that's not where we come from.
Yeah.
And also the whole thing about there's a real well, I mean, I think Christine, you reminded me it's about since 2000s that there's been something called co-production, co-design within the NHS, where you take the user's views to develop services, and that's very much you won't see that necessarily from the end where you're delivering a sleep assessment or a consultation, but everything that we do is always done in consultation with the users involved, and we want to bring more of that into the whole service delivery as well. So
yeah, thanks, Jan. Yeah, and actually just to comment on that, I don't know, sometimes referrers will even be referring to us slightly actually for the wrong reason. So for example, a young person that's not attending school, they're sending them to us because really their focus is getting that young person back to school. And so there's almost an expectation that the sleep is going to fix the school attendance. Whereas actually we then take that and we think, right, forget school. We want to help you with your sleep and understand what's going on with the sleep and why sleep has become what it is. So again, that just is an example of how we focus on, with compassion and care, how we focus on that. So that was just to reiterate. Okay, so sorry, let me just, right, there we go. Okay, so this means, so all of what we've just talked about into a bit more nitty gritty, and this is really more for us than outward facing. But it means we will try to demonstrate thought leadership in sleep. So, we try and do that in lots of different ways and potentially we'll do so more. So that might be commenting on LinkedIn posts. It might be having conversations with researchers. It might be attending conferences and adding our input. There's so many different ways we will be doing that. It means we'll use evidence-based practice, like I've already said, and it means we'll practice agility and innovation. Nothing is set in stone. We want to learn and develop, and so that's going to keep changing over time. And we want to, have that attitude of continuous learning as well. So that humility of there's so much more to learn, and we're just going to want to keep learning. We are aiming to build a multidisciplinary team of Hunrosa professionals. I mean, look at us all here today. We've all got such different backgrounds, skills, professions. And again, I think that makes us so unique. And I, for one, just find it so beneficial. And I think it really, we really see that filtering into the training we deliver, and we see that filtering through into the way that we support individuals. Engage the customer in co-design. Jan's already mentioned, I won't go over that again. Apply excellent clinical governance, and that's so important. It keeps everybody safe. It means that we do everything that we should do, and we do it well. So we want excellence in that, not just tick the box. It means we're going to maintain a friendly and respectful approach to those we treat, whilst also keeping people safe. And I think, in the way that Jan set up Hunrosa, she's set that culture already running through the business. And I think, culture is quite hard to change. And so it's wonderful that we've got that there already in the bones of who we are. So let's kind of keep that going, really. Totally lost my place now. Maintain a level of excellence and through a system of clinical supervision. So you'll all have already benefited so much from the supervision that we have, and that again is just hugely valuable. It gives us a space to reflect and to learn and to grow and to share, because actually it's quite hard, isn't it, what we do, and quite draining, and we're all having tricky scenarios that it's just so powerful to be able to bring to supervision and learn through that and be supported through that. It also means we're going to consider the individual as the expert in their sleep treatment and at their own pace. So we're not coming with a pre-formed agenda and idea of what that young person should be doing. It's much more like, working with them to work out what's appropriate for them and what timings work. Which again, I think, we need to be mindful, because it might be sometimes hard within our timeframes and also with expectations of referrers. So that, will come into how we communicate with referrers as well, in terms of giving them a heads up, or just, communicating a bit around that. And we're going to be continuing to offer online and in-person intervention. And that's important where we can, because some people find online very difficult, and obviously there are certain things like training that are even better when done in person. And we'll use a step care model, which I'm not sure if you've all seen, but we'll use a step care model to ensure clients receive the right level of care at the right time. And what that means is when Jan is discussing new contracts and so on, part of that is working out using our step care model, making sure that people get the right intervention at the right time that's appropriate for them, as opposed to just sending everyone in at basic level, sending everyone on a training course, and they've got to do that before they can access the next thing. It will be more a case of the right thing at the right time for the right person. So that I whizzed through, but I hope that just I hope that everyone's feeling a bit like, oh, this is such a great organization to be part of. I hope it's inspiring everyone. But far away with questions and discussions. And I'm so sorry, I've just got a delivery at the front door. So I'm going to go and open the door and let everyone just start chatting.
Okay, I'm still here, so if you've got any questions. No, silence. Okay. Well, if there's no questions, we're not in an ivory tower. So if you read it and you think, oh, I'm not sure what that means, or you want further explanation, or you've got something to add, then you can always reach out to us on email.
Just wanted to say, Jan, I think, just reading through, or Tabs going through the vision and mission and values it just kind of highlights just how easy that is to read as well, because sometimes you're blinded by words, aren't you? And that's just really clear, and it just says it in a really nice way. And I think I think it's just, it's a reminder, because sometimes it's easy for us to forget. You go about your own kind of like little referral, or kind of like, a case, and you forget occasionally that you're that big of a part of a bigger team.
Yeah, what we'll be doing is, Karen, we'll be all these different things will be melding into our outward-facing communications as well. So, for example, on the training, there will be mention of where we come from, and our vision, mission, and values as well. So, thanks. Don't know if there's any others. Okay. Thanks very much, Tabs, for that. I think we're done on the vision. So I think the next bit is the Portsmouth tool.
So yes, would you like me to do that first, or would you like to do yours first? What are you happiest doing?
Don't mind, Jane.
Okay. Okay, so shall I just share then? Just bear with me.
While Jane's getting that up, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone, because I don't need to be here for the clinical stuff, but it was lovely seeing everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Kirsty. Bye.
Just bear with me. I'm trying to get at the...
I think Kirsty's got 37-degree heat today.
Gosh.
I can't feel sorry for her.
Ridiculous.
Only.
I'm afraid.
Yeah,
Just
I
a
wouldn't
bit
mind
from
if you said
there. Yes, yeah, we could do a trade.